I'm going to talk in this video about a topic that's a bit controversial, so bear with me and listen all the way through so that you can hear my full explanation. And I also recommend do your own research, listen to the podcasts, the YouTube videos, read the blogs, read about this information so that you can understand it for yourself. So what's the topic? The topic is substance addictions. 2 years ago, I learned that sugar is as addictive as cocaine. That just blew my mind and shocked me because I was addicted to sugar, or I realized I was addicted to sugar. And that's like scary to think that I'm in the same category as something that in our society we know is super, super addictive. But it did make sense as I started to learn about it that, oh, that explains why when I have sugar, I want more sugar and I want more sugar and I've got a snack every hour because I crave it and I crave all of these foods, and it's not a willpower issue. It's the fact that the sugar is craving itself. It's a substance addiction, and the substance just happens to be in almost all the foods that you buy in the grocery store. So to understand that sugar is addictive, it makes me think that maybe it's not my fault that I have been a yo-yo dieter, because every time I would gain the weight, I was addicted to the sugar, the chocolate, the breads, the desserts, the candy, all of those things, and I just couldn't stop eating them. And then I would get some willpower for a little bit of time. I'd try another diet out, but I could never, ever sustain the diet because I was addicted to sugar ultimately. And I would get sucked back in and I would just keep eating the same foods. Understanding that it's a substance addiction made me start to look at other substance addictions and how do people overcome them. I've tried 2 cigarettes in my life. I coughed the whole time. I hated it. So I've never been addicted to cigarette smoking, but I have been addicted to sugar every single day that I can remember. So that is an addiction, and it's there constantly. It still is there. Even though I have lost the weight, maintained the weight loss for 2 years, I still am addicted to sugar, and I prove it to myself. Sometimes I test myself. I bought some ice cream. Well, it certainly couldn't be the chocolate ice cream because I would eat that in about 24 hours. I bought peach ice cream to try to lessen my draw to it. I had it probably 5 times a day, a little bowl. I couldn't resist. Now it's at the back of my freezer. I've forgotten about it pretty much. Chocolate bars, I've tried to test myself to see if I'm still addicted to the chocolate bars. Oh my goodness, it's bad, really bad. I cannot have chocolate bars in my house. Literally, I cannot have them in my house. I cannot stop eating them. I'm right back to where I was. Even though I've been doing this for 2 years, I still am addicted. I have the feeling I will always be addicted to those particular sweets and sugars that brought a dopamine hit, and in my brain there's a connection, and I'm addicted to that substance. Other people, they can have chocolate in the house and never eat it. For me, there can be hard candy in the house. I never eat it. That was not something I was addicted to. Chocolate, definitely. Desserts, those things, I cannot stop once I start. Probably I'll always have this addiction to those particular foods. So when I was wanting to lose the weight and permanently keep it off, I started to research people who had given up these other substance addictions, such as alcohol and smoking, especially for the smoking, to understand how do people quit smoking. I learned that it can take 7 to 10 times for people to try to quit before they actually have success. Oh, well, that's like yo-yo dieting, where I would try to quit and I'd quit for a little bit and then I'd go back. So to understand that if it's a substance addiction, can I learn from people who quit smoking? That is so well known around the world. People quitting smoking, there's the nicotine patch, nicotine gum, all of those kinds of things. I started to learn about that and to learn ways that they were quitting smoking, what was successful for them. And I thought, I don't have a sugar patch. I don't have sugar gum in the same way, but we have sugar-free gum and artificially sweetened. But I didn't want to get addicted to those or get dependent on those artificial chemicals. So I tried to learn about ways to wean myself off of the sugar because we don't have that sugar patch or that sugar gum in the same way that you get the hit. It's possible we could use that as a comparison. But the challenge is that we don't sit down 3 times a day to a pack of cigarettes on our plate. And so we can't completely use the same reasoning to quit smoking and to quit sugar addiction. Because you can live your whole life without nicotine, you can't live your whole life without food. You can live your whole life without added sugar. I am doing that to a almost perfect degree most days. No added sugar. You can live your whole life without the added sugar. So the analogy of quitting smoking and quitting food, when a lot of those foods have sugar in them or break down into sugar in our bodies, such as the high carbohydrates, then it's actually more challenging to quit sugar than to quit smoking. So I started to look at techniques for ways to quit smoking. And some people will literally throw away their last box of cigarettes. They'll, break them in half, throw them away. It's a very memorable event. They throw those away and they don't buy any more. And they can go years that way. And then they'll start smoking again. There's something that triggers it and they want to start smoking again. For me, I can't just not live without food. I will die. I have to keep eating. I have to be around people who eat sugars. I have to go out to restaurants sometimes or go through the grocery aisles where there's sugar everywhere. Literally everywhere you look, there is sugar and added sugar into our foods. So how am I going to keep living? How am I going to keep existing in this world and not be addicted to this thing that's everywhere? It's different than the fact that cigarettes aren't everywhere. What I did was I purged my house and my cupboards of sugar. That was one of the best things I could do. It was hard. I put everything in grocery bags, put it all in the storage room, so it was out of sight, out of mind. And that helped a great deal. I purged my fridge and my freezer of things that were tempting to me that had sugar in them. I started to grocery shop differently. Whatever I put in that grocery cart, I knew I was going to eat at home. So if I put the ice cream in there, if I put the chocolate bars in there, I will eat it because I've paid for it. Starting at the grocery store was the best place to limit what was going to come into my body. I also didn't want to be so strict that I was one of these people that, oh, we can't have Wendy come to our house because she can't eat this and this and this. I didn't want to be that strict. I decided for myself, I'll eat anything as long as it's outside of the house because I'm not going to be having seconds and thirds and snacking on it every hour for 3 days. If I had the chocolate cake, if I had the piece of bread, if I had a hamburger bun, that was okay. I just had it that time out of the house. I wasn't going to continue to eat and overeat and binge on it because binge eating was my biggest eating disorder issue. Just having it a few times also didn't bring my cravings back, which was a really interesting thing. I was thinking, oh, as soon as I'd have chocolate again, then I'm going to go crazy unless I have it. No, once I'd had the chocolate, I maybe craved it a couple hours later, maybe for a day, but then I didn't keep craving it. It's sort of like my body got used to not having it again. So that helped me realize, yeah, I can have anything as long as it's outside of the house. The minute I bring it in the house, I can't stop. I cannot stop. This is such an addiction for me. I know you might not agree with me in terms of my analogies with cigarette smoking and sugar addiction. Figure it out for yourself. Find something that you can understand, whether it's related to the fact that the sugar is a substance addiction and it's addictive. The substance is addictive. This helped me to separate myself out from this feeling that I'm the one to blame and to realize it's the substance. If I get the substance out of my system, I won't be addicted to it. And that's where learning about smokers and how they quit really helped me. And at the beginning, replacing the sugar with artificially sweetened things, zero carb things, drinks, those kinds of things helped wean me off of the sugary foods. So do your own research, just learn about it and find out what's going to work for you. Hope to see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. This is the book I wrote after I lost 80 pounds and I wanted to share it with the world because I finally solved my yo-yo dieting dilemma. It's available on Amazon. I have it in color, black and white, hardcover, or the paperback version, and also Kindle. I'm hoping to record the audio version of it for an audiobook. So get your copy today on Amazon.